Hello there, my name is Cassie. I go by she and they, and this is a channel for cross stitch and knitting. Um, okay, this is the third video and I've done this, and this is now being recorded just after I published the second video. And the way that I record myself is like now I could see the comments from the first video. And they were lovely comments. I appreciate every single one of them, even though I was late in putting a little like on them and everything. I saw that a lot of people kind of commented on the closed captioning, and I really appreciate it. This video is being released without the closed captioning I'm doing. I want to see the quality of YouTube and what they do to the closed captioning. So if they completely bomb the quality, I will continue to do the closed captioning then. But if they do a good job, I might allow that to happen. But I will increase the amount of edits that I do, like put like in here all the names of what I'm saying with the proper spelling, so that you can definitely see what I'm talking about. What else? I'm looking at my notes here because I wrote a lot of notes over a month and a half. And you can see now that I'm in a different space. I am now currently a month into this new job of mine. I have moved to Regina. I'm currently housed with a roommate. If you hear creaking above me that I can't hear, it's probably my roommate. But the job's going good. It's now giving me the ability to go, okay, now I could do some shopping. Shopping's always nice, isn't it? I do want to do a few shout outs to people that I've seen that I was like, yes, let me write those names down so I can tell you about it. Andrea's Cautionary Tales, her coffee dance. It's like, I wish I could do that for a tea dance. And if Andrea, you watch this, do a tea dance. And then Opus Alanin, probably not saying that right. She did a L'Oreal series so L'Oreal is a book series that was published by Garth Nix, and it's about quite literally the dead in a society that is magic and has to deal with the dead. And there's a specific, I guess, genetic trait of a people that can be necromancers who put down the dead, don't raise the dead. They put down the dead. And they do that with bells. And I love the series because the second book is about a librarian. Like, she becomes the librarian's assistant, basically. But the books can kill you. So that's a very fascinating premises. And so this lady on Opus Alanin, I should remember names, I don't, unfortunately. She did a L'Oreal interpretation in Viking form. So she did a Viking outfit based on L'Oreal. And it's just dreamy face all around. Engineering Knits. She does a bunch of knitting, and then she's done crochet, she's done sewing, and now she's getting into tatting. And I'm like, I should look at that and see if I can learn that, but that's another rabbit hole that I don't want to go, so I'm just basically ignoring that right now. And then Sharky Stitcher, the YouTube algorithm strikes again, recommends Sharky Stitcher to me. And OMG, she recommended so many fabric dyers that I'm now in that rabbit hole of purchasing some of those fabric dyers products. I will talk about it later. Like, I'll put the full list, don't you worry. And then I just been treating this entire video and my whole life as compassionate deadlines by costumed drama. So she really introduced the concept of compassionate deadlines to me, so that's something I was really taken to heart. compassionate deadlines with the captioning of this video, with the whole my life too. It's like, I'm sorry, I'll get to it when I can. No promises. Alright. Alrighty. Now let's put the tea down. And let's jump into what I've been doing. So with the move, I have been doing a lot more knitting because that's easier than doing some stitching. So you can see Mermaid. And the reason why I wanted to do this video now is because I need to move her. She's getting a little too loose. I stitch hard. She's getting a little too loose, so I had to take this off. So you're gonna get to see her in her full glory. And I already lost a needle. Whoops. Nope, it's on a different magnet. Huh? I was thinking it was this magnet. Like, look at that. And then as soon as I take this off, it just goes wild. But yeah. That magnet comes off. There's my magnet plushie. Those my 2 needles. That comes off. Alright. And I actually can show you this. So on this is where I started before, but it was on a curve, right? So I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. I don't know how far I am. So yeah, that's where I am. And then I started in the middle. And so you can see that I have put felt into this one. These are on right on the floor. I'll put this back in the Q-snap when I am done with this video. But I'll just have to patiently wait until then. Felt. All right. Let's see if I can fold it up nicely for all of you. Oh, that's nice. Let's see if I can get it a bit more. Yeah, there we go. Let me pose now for a screenshot for YouTube to grab, please. All right. So, what can I say about this? You can see the moon that I was talking about in the first video that I was hiding under the Q-snap. I did all the fishies, so you can see 1, 2, 3 fishies with the fork down there, and then I started moving across to the hair. And this is the filigree, whatever it is, how it's pronounced. And this is actually the side. Like, there's not much left. How much fabric do I have on the side? A lot. And I don't know if I should cut it off to decrease the amount of fabric that I have. Who knows? But yeah, there's where she is. And it's like, this is all confetti. This is all confetti. And it's driving me insane. It's driving me slowly, yeah. Like, there's some days where I can just say, yes, I can do, I'll pick a thread or 2 and put it in. But there's some days where it's just like, no, I just want to do hair. Like, it's only three colors in the hair, pretty much. I just mindless stitching. So this is a good project. Like, it gives me both worlds. That's the mermaid so far. So since I'm actually posting this relatively soon after I edit this, let me ask you guys, north, south, east, or west? We'll see how many people respond, but I'll give you guys a week after I post it. The most votes for one direction, that's the direction I'll go. So, yeah, there we go. The Mermaid. Oh gosh, it's so thick. Like, look at the back. You can definitely see, where there's less confetti and there's more confetti. Like, there's so much confetti in like the black like line, and then when you get into the belly, it's like nothing. No, not much. Like, so much confetti. Oh, the filigree, like. Alright, let me just. I don't want to seem like I'm callous. I'll just drop it on the floor. Alright, so that's that. Well, and then I was starting to get a little bit bored of the Mermaid because I was working. I was like, I don't have the time to pick up and kind of figure out where I want to go, because you had to figure out if you're gonna go for a block of color or confetti. I just sometimes didn't want to pick it up and look for it, so I picked up the Bestiary. I call it the Greek pot Bestiary from Ingleside Imaginarium. So the Ingleside Imaginarium, all is released. I am now in the process of back stitching. So I finished off the octopus. That was at the very bottom. Let me take this off. So let's see. There we are. Finished. So now I'm doing the back stitching. So the back stitching was already done on the top three, and then on Griffin, and I'm now doing the Hydra. Took me a sec. Hydra. So she's got some tongues now. She's got some outlining. She's got a definitive shape now, but she's not quite done. And then I finished off the hippocampus, whatever. I'm thinking Krampus, of course, from these 20 stitches, and Michelle Bendy, who did just finished their Krampus, and there's a thought. But I finished this, and then I finished this octopus, and while I was still on the octopus, I did some of the back stitching. I think there's some red in here, back stitching. Don't quote me on that, but I think there is, and I need to go in and completely finish it. I just got sick of this, and I was like, okay, let me just jump up to the Hydra. And I know that I need to fill this blank space with white, so that's another project. I'm like, the Minotaur, oh, he has so much back stitching to do. There's still a lot of back stitching to do on this project, and that's also my fault for not doing it as a go. But yeah, that's where I am. Eventually, I'll get there. This has been my back stitching. I feel like I'm an amateur when it comes to back stitching. Like, it doesn't look exactly quite like the picture, but it's like my back stitching goes all over the place. It's like, do you supposed to go in hole A, come out hole 3, and then come into hole 2, and then go like this? I don't. I go like this. We're like a figure 8 almost. Not figure 8. It's a very weird configuration that I do to get my back stitching in. That's a question I'll ask you guys too, is do you go in a systematic way, or do you go bonkers? That's a question. Oh, Salty Sea Dog Designs. Meet Patrick. Okay, but that's the Greek pot. The Greek pot. Okay, that's there. Oh, I forgot to talk about what I did on the Mermaid. What I did on the Mermaid. So let me jump into Pattern Keeper and tell you the stitch count. So I did 24K last time, the last video. So it was 13%. I have now done 27, which means I am now 14.57%. So I've done 1% increase, which is typically I do 3% increase per month, but moving and so forth, it's put a hold on it, especially since I was like kind of getting tired of her for a bit, and I stepped away. And then what else? Should I jump to the knitting, or should I just talk about all the fabrics that I've been eyeing up? I think I'll talk about all the fabrics that I've been eyeing up. So of course, Nashville Stitching Market, or Nashville, everyone talks about Nashville. Like, go to Michelle Bendy Stitches, who's a designer, and she kind of talks about it a little bit. She can give you the breakdown, and pretty much every designer talks about Nashville. And they were she was talking about how many designers were there, like fabric dyers and stuff, and I still had 100 owls in the back of my head, because last video I said I don't like the yellow of it, I wanted something different. So I was like, okay, I need to find something more parchment color, and I dove into my stash. I did bring my stash. It's a very pitiful amount of the stash. Yeah. Hey, this is the fabric for another project. It's for the museum shelf and having an earth design, so it's at the bottom here. But this is all my fabric. Soon it will probably need to be expanded, but that's where it is right now. Like, most of it is Bee Stitch Me. Like, I did a big purchase in Bee Stitch Me before I became really poor. So I looked through them. I found a few choice options. I found Vanilla Latte, and then I was kind of contemplating Mocha, and then seeing this one. So for my Dark Queen of the Sea from Autumn Lane Stitchery, when I had to purchase the fabric, it came with a bead pack from Under the Sea Fabrics, and I kind of eyed up a different another fabric that I was like, it can't travel alone. So I picked up this really dark gradient, Hades Realm. It's Ida 16 count, and I was like, this could work for 100 owls, but it's a gradient. So I was like, not too much of my fancy. So when everyone started talking about Nashville and talking about fabric dyers, I kind of went down another little rabbit hole of fabric, and I wrote down a list, quite an extensive list. Leo and Roxy, but it's mostly floss. But they have some fabrics. They started looking at fabrics, so that's a keep an eye on. But do I want to join their floss club? That's an idea. And then Fox and Rabbit. Everyone talks about Fox and Rabbit, and I looked at their website. It's mostly linen. Okay, move on. Fangirl Fibers. mostly floss. And then forbidden fibers. I knew about them from, I heard that, my roommate. Forbidden fibers. I ordered their Halloween box, so I kind of knew about them for floss. They do have some fabrics, but not much. And then Fortnite fabrics. I've been keeping an eye on them, but they seem so popular that I'm kind of just like, okay, let me just step away from them. They got their business, and I might join their club to get fabric, but not right now. And then other floss tubers were talking about fabrics, and I just kind of jotted them all down. Fiberlicious. They're pretty backed up. Like it's a big warning sign when you went into the website. Big warning. I'm willing to wait. I'll 18 count, so I'll just step away. And okay, everyone says XU Designs. It's like, no, it's actually XJU Designs on Etsy. And that's one I've been there's a few there, fabric-wise, for Ada that I'm just like, okay, this might be in a place. And then Fiber on a Whim. That's another one. And Sharky Stitcher got me into looking at mystic fabrics. There's an idea there. And she reminded me again of Under the Sea fabrics, which made me to dive into my stash and look at that one, under the Hades Realm one. And I might be buying from Under the Sea because she's got, like, look at my list. And all my papers fall out. Look at my list. Like, so this is Mystic that I've been eyeing. And like you can see my arrow to stitch me. Like 100 owls. And that's my list of possible choices. And I had to go into the hashtag that Owl Forced Embroidery had for their 100 owls to kind of like get inspiration. And somebody did it on black. Like a really, like pretty much black Ada. And I was like, that is gorgeous. I love it. But I wanted a little bit more of a spice to it. So you can see there was some stars next to some names. So like Nyx, Witching Hour, and Hamlet are my choices. Like the picture that shows up first is on linen. And when you go into the Ada picture, it's a bit more washed out. I think I'm gonna still go for it and see how dark it is actually. But I'm also been kind of eyeing up at more of the lighter fabrics. Because I don't really have light fabrics. I have really colorful fabrics. And I'm like, I'm actually realizing that I'm actually a neutral stitcher. Yeah. And what else? Oh, that's it. Bead Stitch Me, which I've already kind of exhausted them because I spend my money there. I want to find something new, stitch something new, and that's all. I haven't really purchased anything really new. I have not, cross-stitching wise. I have not purchased anything knitting wise, even though every day I drive by a yarn store here in Regina. The Naked Sheep. Every time. Like, what was it? Was it the last video that I showed the Lottie cardigan in that dark brown? And it was Sugar Bush Festivities. That yarn is from the place here where I visited like 3 years ago. So that's there. All right. Knitting. Let's get into knitting now. And this is where I did a lot of work. So this is the What the Fade pattern from Andrea Mowry. This involves 6 skeins of a sock base, and I did lily and pine, and I did 2 fades. One was the teal and one was the purple. And this is where I am now. So the last video I was showing you, I was finishing the brioche and it was heading into the garter. I have now passed into the garter and making my way into the end, basically. Like, I had to look ahead in the pattern. I was like, this is it, because I'm reaching the end of some of the balls that I have. I'm like, they're over there. Like, I'm reaching the end. It's like, are you playing? It's like it's that panic in the back of your head saying, am I going to play thread chicken? Am I playing thread chicken here? No. It's like, I don't want to be playing thread chicken. Please, no. So, yeah, that's where I am. So let me just see if I can. This is such a nice gradient. Yeah, it's all bunched up on the wire, but I can't do anything about it right now. Sorry. But if I flip it around, it's very interesting, right? So I think the last video, I was here, maybe here, in the brioche, finishing the light purple side, no, the dark purple side. Like, I was coming into this dark purple, I think, in the brioche. And then I was heading into, now this is garter. So you just knit. You knit one row, knit the other row, and you get this really bumpy fabric. And it's, now we're going through the fade. So the dark purple, and then you intermix it with the next ball, and then you get the purple, and then you get the light purple, and you intermix it together, and then you do the light purple, and then you do, so it's very white in the middle, because I have 2 balls of it, basically, 2 balls of white, one more bluish and one more purplish, but makes a good fade, right? And now I've entered into the medium blue. It looks really blue, but it's a medium blue. And then the last blue is more of a sky, night sky, sunsetty blue. Look at the last video, you can see it. And that's where I am now. And I have done a lot of work. And you remember me saying, I'll be happy when I finish the brioche and going into the garter, and it'll be faster? No, you'd have seen in the captions that no, it was not faster. It was definitely not faster. And yeah, I got all my threads on the side here. They're like I was late to the game, realizing, oh, I can do weave and Steven method with this. Nope. Yeah. Like here, that's where the weave and Steven kicked in. No, I had 2 or 3 kicked in before, and this is the last one. Anyways. But that's knitting. That's knitting. That's what I've been doing, knitting. That's what I've been doing knitting-wise. That's it. Seriously. Like, one bag. I can't move. Can't collect too much of my stuff out. Like, everything's still in bins. I call them totes. But people make fun of me for that. Bins. They're bins. Big plastic bins. Can't gather them out too much. So I try to stick to one project at a time. Or one knitting and one stitching. But you can see I've kind of started to expand my territory. And that's it. The sweaters have been put aside. The shawl is taking all my energy. All my focus. Not my energy, but my focus right now. What else. That's it. Like, I think that's all my notes. Like, I talked to you about my hopes and dreams of fabric shopping. I told you that all my shout outs. Showed you all my projects. Oh, okay, another rabbit hole I've been going into is trying to design this new Dune project. This new Dune thing. It's like I have figured out the font for the whole quote. I'm trying to find a thick enough border, which I think I found in a like modern cross-stitch embroideries book that I borrowed from the library. It's quite, and right now I'm in the process of looking at high resolution photos of props from the Dune movie to see the writing, basically, to see if I can copy that writing and put it in some way. And then Daybreak Stitchery, I should know her name. She showed a ink circles pattern, the Squirrels of Sumatra. I really enjoyed that thread that she used. So that color in her whip parade, or her whips, showing off her whips, there was two thread choices that I've been like, It's the Threadwork Desert Sunset. That could be my sand, if I ever put sand in there. And the Silky Butterscotch. That's spice in Dune. It's my thoughts. My thoughts. Yeah. And collecting motifs to put in there. Like bowl for House of Trees. Yeah. I have to find a bowl somewhere. In the worm. I want to put the worm in there somehow, even though it has to be big. Like, I'm thinking like the quote and then the big worm along the bottom. Like in the movie, they show the mural and has the worm there with like a sun rays coming out of its mouth. Like that is what I want in this. It's like, how do I translate that? I'll find out. I'll figure it out. And I'm not using any stitching software. Like, I did ask Violet Cross Stitch what she used, and it's on iOS, and I'm tablet. Unfortunately, I'm not on an iPad. So, and it's like, do I make the jump from a free software to a paid software? I might have to. If I continue this route, because I don't want what happened to me with the Sea of Thieves, where I had like this much space left, and I was like, I don't want that to happen to me in this project, this Dune project. So, yep, and work is fun. All right. Take care.